Brooms have always been thought of as the classic transportation for witches, wizards. When it comes to witchcraft, that is the main way of transportation. Now, the broomstick in the Harry Potter franchise evolved like everything else that was done in the wizarding world. Witchcraft isn't just the classic days of the Salem Witch Trials. In the Harry Potter franchise, this is something that's become modern, robust, more industrial. And now we are going to take a dive into a little bit of the lore when it comes to brooms. So, hop on and get ready for a flight. Hey guys, before we jump into this broomstick video, wanted to let you know if you guys could fly that finger right down to the subscribe button, that would be fantastic. We would love it. As well as hit the like button. Aurora and I would greatly appreciate any support you can do for the channel. And we'll do some more deep dives on things like this in the Harry Potter franchise, as well as other film franchises. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll get back to the video. Okay guys, the history of brooms. So in the Harry Potter franchise, which is everything we're going to be talking about today, the 962 year mark is the first time that we ever get to see or hear about a recording of broomstick flight happening. This was from a manuscript in Germany, and that is the furthest dating back that we can see to actually using broomsticks for travel. Only wizards and witches appear to use broomsticks in the wizarding world. It's very interesting. We have many other magical creatures. We have many sentient creatures. We have, centaurs. We have goblins. We have house elves. We have many different creatures, but none of them do the broomsticks the way that the witches and wizards do. Now, why is this? Well, the reason for this, guys, is because witches and wizards back in the day, we had these Salem Witch Trials. We had, people were against witches and wizards. And in the beginnings of witchcraft, the Muggles did not take kindly to this, just as in our universe. And so essentially the witches and wizards had to find something they could use for travel, for flight, because they knew they were capable of it. But they needed something that Muggles would not see in their house and know that's a witch. So what did they do? They opened up their closet, and there was the broomstick. Now talking about the industry of the broomstick world. And so they're sold in two different spots. Not just broom shops is where you can get your brooms. You actually can go to sporting goods stores as well. So there's broom shops specifically just for brooms, and there's sporting goods stores that have things for quad pot, Quidditch, and all the other broom sports that are out there as well. In Britain and Ireland, controlled by the Ministry of Magic, they actually have a broom regulatory control. This is something where they track the brooms, they follow it, they know who's traveling by a broom, okay? And so the ministry can control this in Britain and Ireland through the regulatory control that they have in place. Interestingly, we'll talk about it a little bit later in the video about what happens outside of Britain and Ireland. We'll get into that here in a little bit. So the only other way of flight outside of broomstick in the UK area, which is what we see, within Hogwarts realm, is levitation of yourself, which has only been done by Voldemort as well as Professor Severus Snape. Those are the only two that have done self-levitation that have mastered that ability, or even been able to attempt it, right? And there is one other way, something that most people don't think about, but if you are an animagus, you are able to transform into a winged creature. So if your animagus is a bird or a hippogriff or something like that, you would be able to assume flight as well. The first series of brooms were very uncomfortable, guys. These things were awful. You talk about sitting on a bench on a basketball team and getting splinters in your butt. That's what was happening here. You have rough twigs at the ends of the unvarnished handles. They're used for concealment. These are the people in the initial stages of flight that were trying to just use a standard broom that they had in their closet for flight. It was not comfortable. It was really bad. And man, had to be a pain in the butt. Seriously. Families usually made their own brooms back then. They each varied in speed and comfort depending on the building capabilities of the witch or wizarding family that's making them. And so there wasn't really any streamlined thing. Everything was completely different for every different household, right? However, the second stage of brooms, this is where we get a little bit of a step up, okay? This came sometime in the 12th century when skilled craftsmen actually started coming forward. Some of these families that were really good at making some good brooms, they said, you know what, I'll make a business of this, and I will trade my broom making abilities to other families for other magical goods. Now, in 1820, there became a cushioning charm, okay? And this had to have been a butt saver. I mean, this was created to help provide more comfort on the broom. So it literally created this feeling of a cushion on the back of your broom. Absolutely revolutionized the industry. And so when you make these, this charm was actually put into the broom itself. Okay, models made by single craftsmen. You had the Oakshaft 79, the Moontrimmer, and the Silver Arrow. Okay, these were the top of the line in this second age of broom making. However, we did advance even further, and this gets into the third stage of manufacturing brooms. This wasn't just single handoff people making their own. This was actually manufactured with specific companies created to make brooms. The two first ones that came out was the Cleansweep Broom Company. The Cleansweep one was their original design, and as you can imagine, Cleansweep 2, 3, yeah, they just kept going up in number just like the iPhone. So that was their manufacturing line. You also had their competitor, which was the Comet Trading Company. The Comet 140 was a fantastic design model as well, had different benefits to the other, and it had a patented braking charm. Okay, so you could stop on a dime with this Comet Trading Company's patented braking element that it put in place. The Nimbus Racing Broom Company came into place 1967 is when this company came out, created their line of Nimbus models. And as we saw in Harry Potter, came all the way up to the Nimbus 2000, Nimbus 2001s, and Nimbus was the top company for a long time in the wizarding world. No one was touching them, okay? And the thing is that the first time that someone came in as a competitor really to the Nimbus line was the Firebolt. The Firebolt that we see was goblin-made. It was made of ironwork and is a main competitor of the Nimbus line. Okay. Now, for what we know, the Firebolt and the Nimbus company are still the top two when it comes to the industry. No one has really touched these two brooms. They have a clean sweep of the competition as of right now, pun intended. And that is kind of where everything sits from a broom standpoint as far as the companies, things like that. There are plenty different makes and models of brooms that we could go into and talk about. However, these are the ones that actually were important to the elevation of the broom industry. These are the ones that actually made an impact in the broom industry and some of the things that came into place. Now, we'll also talk about a couple different things here at the end, some bonus elements of it, and that would be the broomstick servicing kit. This is something that Hermione actually got for Harry at some point as like a Christmas or a birthday gift, I believe. It wasn't showcased in the movies, but it was talked about in the book. Now, in your broomstick servicing kit, you would get these standard things. You would get a polisher, you would get polish, you would get a do-it-yourself book, snippets for the broom's tail, and more. Now, we don't know the lifespan of a broom. I'm sure it varies dramatically depending on your usage. If you're using this for sports, if you're using this for long distance travel, you're using it, once a month. It's really going to depend, just like automobiles. So there's really no set capacity to how long a broom will last for you. However, I would imagine that the capacity did get a lot larger as we got into the third stage of brooming. The last thing that we're going to talk about here, guys, is very interesting. We talked about it earlier in the video. What happens when you get outside of the UK? What happens for witches and wizards outside of that? And interestingly enough, the Asian wizarding schools, okay, besides Japan, Mahuta Coral School, they still do broom flying. But the other communities, such as India, such as China, they are actually using magic carpets. Yes, magic carpets, just like we see in Aladdin, is something that is in the wizarding world of Harry Potter. They do not use brooms. With that, we will go ahead and wrap up this video. What did you guys think? Did you like this video? Did you enjoy it? Is there a lot of things you didn't know about brooms? Is there something cool out there like we found when it comes to the magic carpets being used in the wizarding world? Let us know what you guys think down below. And also, let us know, would you prefer to have a magic carpet or would you prefer to ride a broom? Ultimately, for us, I think we'd rather do a magic carpet. Aurora likes a good firm spot to sit her bottom. and I think a magic carpet would be good for me and her to sit on very comfortably. And ultimately, she sees a broom as a big stick, so she does like to chew on it, and she's messed up many of our brooms on many of flights that we have had. Is there anything you want to see specifically in the Wizarding world? And don't forget, we are free travel agents, and we specialize in Universal, Disney, Royal Caribbean. If you want to go down and see the Harry Potter universe down in Universal, reach out to us. We can help you book your next set of magical memories with us. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will talk to you on the next video. And remember, Christ is King.